Okay, thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. We like to use Blackstone products. So I have some other videos out there on seasoning. Of course, one of the most popular one is a 17-inch seasoning video, so look that one up. This one's going to be seasoned a little bit differently from that one. Okay, so real quick, I wanted to kind of tell you some tips on this Blackstone griddle here. First, I've never measured a Blackstone before. I always thought it was like a TV, you know, or corner to corner would be the diagonal measurement. So when it says 17 inches, it was corner to corner. I've never measured it until this one. So I actually, just for informational purposes, if it's something that helps you or maybe something you wanted to know, what I found out was diagonally it was 27 inches actually. And then side to side, it was 22.5 inches. So if you've got a picnic table you're thinking about using for this, maybe you got a table that pops out of your camper, you want to put that on, hopefully that helps you, that information. So real quick, I don't know which Blackstone griddle they came out with first. I don't know if it was a 17 inch or 22 inch or 36, I have no idea. We originally got the 17-inch Blackstone griddle because we wanted something to put in our camper that was going to be portable. I like the idea about how when you fold the lid back over, it sits flat. If you've used any of them dome type, grills, things like that, when you try to put that into a camper, you've got this curve that's in your way. I mean, you have to lay things on top of each other, and that was always kind of a pain. So that's what really appealed to me, was that you could lay it flat. This one, like I said, is designed the same way. So this just flips right over when you're not using it, lays flat, easy as can be. Now, if you're a family of 4 or maybe 5 or 6, you're gonna probably wanna go with something like this because it does give you a little bit more room. And it also has a 2 burner. So that would be kind of, a few things that might appeal to you. Either way you go though, they've got cool features and cool accessories that you can do for the 22-inch and the 17-inch. They have lids now. They actually have a portable stand you can set them in, which is really cool. And I'll put links to all this in the video as well. That way you have that information. And, but yeah, overall it's really nice. Like I said, if it's just you, your spouse, and 1 kid, probably go with the 17-inch. You'd probably be fine there. If you've got a family of 4, maybe a little bit more, this one will do good for you as well. So that would be my advice. So I will jump in and season this. What I'm going to do first, and I won't show this part, is, and this is kind of a catch-22. Some people agree with this, some people don't. I've seasoned a lot of these, and what I always do is I wash this first. Soap and water originally is the way I wash it, and then that's it. No more soap on them. So soap and water, I'm gonna wash this up, dry it off really good. Then I'm gonna go through the seasoning process, and I'll actually show you the seasoning process, as far as how I do that. But I just wanted you to know what I'm gonna do as the first step. There's some sticky.
What is it?
On it. I've heard that they do coat it with some, just some protective something. I don't know what it is when they ship them out. So I'm gonna wash that off, and then we'll start seasoning. All right, so like I said, I just washed the top of the griddle here and the bottom and sides actually. And I use soap and water. Now that's the only time I'm gonna use soap and water. I will tell you that is a debate though. Some people don't like to do that. I do, because I know there's some sort of stuff they put on it just to protect it in shipping. In my mind, I wanna wash it off. I wanna start fresh, put the oil on it and go from there. I'm gonna jump in and season it here, but before I do that, what's kind of cool is you screw in one of these green bottles here. So it takes one of them, as opposed to the big propane bottle like the bigger ones. This one just takes the little one. So another cool feature to take it camping with you. Now, I do know there's some sort of conversion kit out there. So if you've got a camper and you've got the hookup for the propane, you can buy a conversion kit, so that way you can hook the camper's propane right into this. So that's kind of a neat feature as well. That way you're not using these things. Because you will go through them, I'll tell you that. I'll probably go through one of them just seasoning it. So, but what I do first off is I'm actually gonna just cover it with some oil here. And let's see if we've got some close by. I'm gonna use, if you can see that in there, this flax seed oil. I've used vegetable oil, you know, basically olive oil. I've used a bunch of different ones. I'm gonna use flaxseed. I use this on the 36 inch. There's a video on that for fixing rust. I use flaxseed on it, seemed to work really well. So there's something I do differently than probably the average person out there. And I learned this when I seasoned the 17 inch one. I seasoned that one in the oven. I have kind of an oven technique that I use. What I did is I let it cool down. Now some people don't do that. You know, I know there's videos out there where it's warm. They dump the oil on there, they go again, put another coat on there. I like to let it cool down. Now I'm not saying cool down the entire way. I'm saying cool down enough to where I can actually handle it again and not burn myself. The reason why I do that is, in my mind, I feel like I'm giving it a chance for that to bind to it, and then I'm gonna go back and add that second coat. I guess kind of like painting. I mean, you don't paint a coat on the wall, and then 2 minutes later when it's still wet, paint another coat. So that's my theory. Now I know there's people out there that are gonna go, Eric, it doesn't matter. There's people out there that are gonna agree and people that disagree. Perfectly fine. If you've got thoughts or techniques, leave them in the comments. I appreciate that, because you know, I like reading that stuff. That's why we all get on YouTube. That's why you're watching this video, so maybe you can learn some techniques as well. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna season this up again. I'm gonna turn on the burners here and I'm gonna let it smoke. But after I do that, I'm gonna re-season it and I'm gonna turn it back on and let it, I'm gonna do the process 3 times. That's what I typically do. Some people do 5, other people do 10. So it's completely your call. I'm gonna do it 3 times and then we'll go from there, because I will tell you most of the seasoning on these griddles is gonna be you cooking on it. Okay, so as I season this here, I'm gonna just tell you a little tip. And I've said this in the other videos, less is more. So when you take this flaxseed oil in this case and you dump that on there, don't just dump it on there. I mean, put a few drops, rub it around, let that cook in. Because I'll tell you, if you put too much on and you cake it too much on there, it will be sticky and you don't want that. One thing I forgot to mention here is this rear grease trap here, it actually hooks right on the top. So, and then sits at an angle there. So that's what that is, just you know, in case you were wondering. So first and foremost, just a few little drops here. All right, I'm gonna do a few more drops and get the sides. You wanna make sure that you season the sides and the outside edges here as well. Now what's going to happen if you've never seasoned one of these before is this thing's going to darken up right in the middle, right over the burners, and then slowly as I continue to add seasoning, it'll start darkening up everywhere as well. Some of the last areas where it darkens up is going to be over right around the edges. Now the goal is, if you can see this right here, just tilt this up, these little tiny spots right here, these welding spots. My goal when I season is I want to try to get rid of them so they're not as visible. So that's going to be my goal. So we'll see on this one. The ones are a little brighter than some of the other griddles that I've done, but that's kind of my goal, because then I feel like I've gotten quite a bit of seasoning on there and, you know, looks good. So I'm going to go through the 3 coats here and then we'll jump back and I'll show you the final product. All right, sweet. So I'm really happy with this 22 inch and the way it turned out, the seasoning. You know, I've done a lot of these. So I've done 2 17-inch Blackstone griddles. I've seasoned a 28-inch Blackstone griddle, a 36-inch Blackstone griddle, and all of them are actually on YouTube. So the 17-inch is actually the most popular one. I've got kind of a way I invented to season them. So if you got a 17-inch or you're looking to buy one of them, check that video out, because I promise you, you're gonna love that. But this last one's a 22-inch. So I mean, I've been through this like 5 times now. So. And every time I've gotten a little bit better, I kind of compete with myself and I go, how much better can I do this one as opposed to the last one? So a couple things that I learned with this is, I did tell you in the video I was going to do 3 coats of seasoning. I actually did 5. And I'll tell you why. This has the welding marks in there that I'll show you here in a second, but the 5 coats actually made it a lot better. Because if you remember, this is how the Blackstone griddle looked at the beginning before it was seasoned. And this is how it looks now. So after getting it seasoned and everything, I mean, you can tell where it's got that, just that kind of deep brown look compared to the silver. So, and it's definitely cooked in well. Now, what I talked about the welding marks, it's kind of my own personal goal. What I always do my best to try to season it enough to where these things are gone or barely visible. So you can see these two bottom ones, welding marks are barely visible. Up here, they're a little bit lighter, and that's only because the temperature of the griddle is about 150 to 200 degree difference from the corner down here. So something to keep in mind too if you're cooking actually. But in the midst of seasoning this, I found out, well, you know, I got to go a couple more coats. So even though in the video I said 3, I actually ended up doing 5. So just FYI, it might be something you want to consider. Now, I've seasoned these griddles with olive oil. I've seasoned them with vegetable oil. And I've seasoned these griddles the last 2 times with flax seed oil. So to kind of tell you a little bit about why I like the flax seed oil, the olive oil and vegetable oils work phenomenally. I've been using that, works great. But one thing I did notice is even after I season it, when I rub my finger over it, you could still kind of feel just a slight film a little bit. And the griddles work great. There's no problem, no sticking or anything like that. They work great. But one thing I like about the flaxseed oils, I think it might just cook in just a little better. So something to keep in mind. I noticed like just rubbing my finger over this, there's nothing on my finger, completely dry. So that is something that's nice about the flaxseed oil. So when you're going to season, think about that. That might help you. But I promise you I kind of do a little bit more of a versus thing between the 17-inch and the 22-inch. I don't know which one Blackstone came out with first. I don't know if it's the 17-inch or the 22-inch, but we've had a 17-inch griddle for 2 years, and like I said, we did a seasoning video on that one, and that's worked great for us. We're a family of 4. It folds up, fits in our camper perfect, and if you use an RV or a camper at all, you know it's about space and weight and everything else. You're really trying to keep that in check. And it works. It's a good one. Now, what I will tell you though is if you're on the fence and you're going, should I get a 17-inch or should I get a 22-inch? I would say if you're a family of 4, 5, 6, something like that, I'd probably go with the 22-inch. That's just my advice. The difference is the 17-inch has the one burner, and when you look inside of here, you can actually see this has the 2 burners on the 22-inch. So the good thing about that is you can control obviously your temperature, whereas the 17-inch has the one burner here, or the one knob, and you got the one burner. So it's a real simple setup. But what's neat about this is if you do have something that you're wanting to cook some different temperatures, or maybe because you have a bigger family, you got people that want to eat steaks this way and some that want to eat this way, or burgers or whatever, it kind of gives you a little bit more flexibility with that. So that is one really cool thing about the 22-inch. The second thing that Blackstone's done is the 17-inch actually doesn't have a rear drip tray. So these things are a lifesaver, I will tell you. Basically, they just hook right on the back, and this little hole over here at the top of the griddle is where the grease and everything flows through to the back here into the drip tray. Now the 17-inch has got like a little hole up at the front, and then it goes into a tray that pops out. It's really kind of a cool feature, but this has got that, which is a lifesaver. The second thing is, as far as comparing the two, this actually has a lot more room, and I'll tell you, if you've used a 17-inch, you know this area kind of becomes your storage area. So this has got more room to put things in, so that is a cool feature of that. The side over here, they both use regulators. The 17-inch and the 22-inch uses the same regulator, but this has got kind of a cool little cap that you put on it to protect it. Maybe 17-inch has that now, I don't know. But that's kind of a neat thing. And as far as size, I gave you the sizes earlier on this, so you can kind of tell what the footprint was, but it was 22.5 inches wide, and going corner to corner is 27 inches. So, like I said, that was, I know TVs, and TVs are always measured diagonally. So I never knew that until I measured it, but I was like, that might be good information for people just so they kind of knew how big it was. So, and as far as the griddle top goes, so you got everything stuck in there. You've got your spatulas in there. You're ready to go. The way this works is you take the griddle top here, the top of this, right there. So you can see it right from the front. See how nice and flat that sits. It's just a fantastic feature. And honestly, Before I even used the Blackstone, that was one of the most appealing things to me, is how it could store. So there's also a cover that goes with this. It pops right over the top. The 17 inch has got a cover that goes on the bottom, so you can zip the top together, and that way it's completely portable. Really, really cool Blackstone product here. Highly recommend it. But I will tell you, if you like the Blackstone products and you like learning about them and how to season them, check out our playlist on this channel for Blackstone Griddles, because everything that we do with Blackstone products is on there. To reiterate, if you're the kind of person that you're into Blackstone products, if you like to travel, if you like to camp, things like that, this is a channel for you. So definitely subscribe to our channel, because that's the kind of the content we like to put out there. If this was helpful for you, or maybe you gained some information you didn't know or something you can pass on, definitely give us a thumbs up. We really appreciate that. So, but thank you so much for watching through this video. I really appreciate it. And if you've got any comments or anything to add or any ideas, leave the comments, talk about it, discuss, because that's what YouTube's about. People come here to learn, and I always read the comments, so definitely leave them. Appreciate you watching.
Make sure that you like and subscribe for more great content that is ready to come. Peace.